do you expect anything material to happen, Stefanie? Or maybe is just kind words and a nice photo op, maybe that is in some ways material?
Yeah, I mean, we talk to institutional investors all the time, and there's a lot of gaming out what might happen. To me, it seems like the best case scenario is no further escalation in tariffs. So right now, President Trump has this, what we're all calling the fourth tranche of tariffs on 300 billion in new Chinese goods that he could institute. He's said as high as 25%. He's threatened 10%, 5%. I mean, I think everyone would love him to come out and say, I'm going to make the list go away. I think that might not happen. I think we might get a list of companies. We may get even some tariffs on them. And I think that the best case scenario for the market may not actually happen.
The one thing we have learned about this president is that he'll say, I'm not going to, people say, he won't do that. He did that. He won't do that. He did that.
Yeah.
You think there's a chance, Stefanie,
yeah, I mean,
that he could slap that fourth tranche of tariffs on?
Yeah, I mean, so what does he gain by giving in right now? I don't really know. I got an email from the White House. Anyone that subscribed would have got the email from the White House last night that reminded White House followers that the president is not afraid to be tough. And so I think that's why he was elected. I think people love that.
Exactly. And I think that you see this in the oil markets as well, right? So you see the president kind of pushing the market to the place where he wants it. And it supports his policy, it gives him some room, it gives him some leash. And so I think by certainly having this productive beginning of a conversation with President Xi, he gives himself some room, but he still has goals that he needs to be able to meet.
Well, one of those, Katie, is Iran and tanker trackers, which sort of tracks,
right,
tankers out there. They were showing last night that there was a ship that was being sold into Asia with Iranian crude that would be a violation of the sanctions. Iran obviously is still selling oil,
right,
according to these satellite images that we have. So he's got all these different things going on with China and now Iran.
Right.
What do you think the outcome of that is going to be? Will it ratchet up or cool off?
Well, he is in a very difficult position because I think he's finding that the Iranians do not have the maybe strategic mentality, the sort of cool, rational mentality. There's a lot of emotion wrapped up in this, and their economy is dealing with a ton of pressure, sanctions on 90% of the economy, right? So you've got a lot of pressure, and Iran is starting to feel the pain from that. Oil exports are still happening, but it's a fraction of what it was, right? 500,000 barrels a day of production.
And that's 40% of their government revenue. I mean, their economy is in bad shape and getting worse. They're a proud country. They're a big country. By the way, nearly 90, they're not some small backwater, nearly 90 million people. How does this play out?
Right, and formerly really the counterweight to Saudi Arabia and OPEC, right, and seeing themselves be totally marginalized and sidelined is a huge hit to the country's, I think, like you said, reputation and ego. So what does the president stand to gain, or what can he offer Iran that doesn't look like a weakening of his position?
Okay, Stefanie, I got to talk to you just quickly, end it with this on the debates. Obviously, there's 20-some Democratic candidates. I mean, half the country's running for the nomination. That's going to get whittled down. When or if does that begin to affect the market? Not a lot of conversation about economy and trade the last two nights. Understandably, maybe. When will that sort of trickle through, do you think?
So the Democrats have a real big problem on trade because Trump took their position. So they don't really have anything to run on that's different. I think they actually really agree with what he's doing.
And they don't want to talk about the economy a lot because it's
fine.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, they don't want to. I mean, that's
aside from wealth inequality and tax policy.
Exactly. Right. So maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, I spoke to an investor who was like, when this Medicare for All stuff really starts seeming real, I think the healthcare stocks are not going to like that. And a couple months ago we saw that happen. So I think that it's already happening. I think that these very, very progressive policies and a pull to the left by these candidates are starting to spook investors around some of the industries potentially that could be.
I mean, healthcare, a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So in some ways it is the economy in large part.
Absolutely. It's a proxy for the economy. When people say healthcare is their biggest concern, I think it really boils down to their pockets.
Stefanie Miller, Katie Bays, Sandhill Strategies, 2 weeks old. You guys are job creators.
Yes,
this is the economy right here.
Absolutely. Small business.